Hey there, green family. Imagine this, a time when supermarket shelves are empty, prices are skyrocketing, and suddenly, the power to feed your family safely and affordably rests in your hands, literally, in your garden. Sounds dramatic, right? But that's exactly why today's video is going to be a game changer for you. I'm sharing 12 unique crops you can grow right now that will help your family survive tough times. And some of them might just surprise you. They're common, yet often overlooked, and they pack a punch when it comes to nutrition and yield. Before we dig in, hit that like button if you care about feeding your family smarter, subscribe to Green Family for more practical gardening tips, and drop a comment telling me, which crop do you think would be a lifesaver for your home? I'll be reading every single one because your thoughts matter, and we're all in this together. All right, let's get started. But stick around towards the end. I'll share a bonus crop that almost no one talks about, but could be your secret weapon in the garden. You do not want to miss it. 1. Sweet potato, the underrated powerhouse. All right, let's kick things off with a real game changer, sweet potatoes. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Sweet potatoes? Aren't they just for Thanksgiving? Well, that's where most people get it wrong. These little guys are actually a survival superstar. They're easy to grow, don't need fancy soil, and they're incredibly resilient. Even if your garden isn't perfect, sweet potatoes have a way of thriving almost anywhere. What makes them really special is that you're not just getting the tubers underground. The leaves above ground are edible too, which means you're basically getting two crops in one. Imagine harvesting a hearty meal without having to plant multiple crops. That's smart gardening at its finest. Plus, both the tubers and the leaves are loaded with nutrients, keeping your family strong and healthy. Sweet potatoes are also long-lasting in storage, which is a huge deal if you're thinking about tough times ahead. You can keep them for months in a cool, dry place, and they'll still be ready to eat when you need them most. And let's be honest, there's something comforting about having a reliable food source sitting right in your pantry that you grew yourself. Here's a little insider tip. If you ever run out of slips, you can regrow them from scraps. Just take a piece of tuber with an eye on it, plant it, and watch it turn into a full plant again. It's like having a never-ending supply of sweet potatoes, and it's one of those little gardening hacks that really makes a difference when you're trying to survive tough times. 2. Moringa, the miracle tree. Next up is something that might surprise you. Moringa, often called the miracle tree. Now, this isn't your everyday garden plant, but trust me, it deserves a spot in your survival garden. It grows incredibly fast, thrives in tough conditions, and almost every part of the plant is useful. Leaves, seeds, pods. Even the roots can be used in different ways, making it one of the most versatile crops you can grow. The leaves are packed with vitamins, minerals, and protein. In fact, just a handful can provide more nutrition than many common vegetables. That means even if your pantry is low, a small moringa tree can help keep your family healthy. And unlike delicate greens, it doesn't need constant attention or perfect soil to thrive. Another amazing thing is how fast it grows. You plant a seedling today, and in a few months, you'll have leaves to harvest and seeds to store. It's the kind of crop that gives you quick results without demanding a ton of work, perfect for gardeners who want high impact with minimal stress. And here's a little secret most people don't know. Moringa leaves can be dried and powdered to use later, almost like having your very own vitamin supplement at home. During difficult times, that kind of self-reliance can make a huge difference. It's like having a tiny, green health factory right in your backyard. 3. Amaranth, the resilient superfood. All right, green family. Next on the list is amaranth. Now, you might have seen it once or twice in stores or on someone's plate, but it's often overlooked in home gardens, and that's a huge mistake. Amaranth is a super resilient plant that can handle heat, poor soil, and even drought better than most greens. That means it's perfect for unpredictable conditions or tough growing seasons. The leaves are incredibly nutritious, loaded with vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, while the seeds are tiny powerhouses of protein. You're basically getting a leafy vegetable and a grain in one plant, which is perfect if you want to stretch your garden's productivity. Imagine harvesting leaves for a fresh salad and then collecting seeds later for porridge or flour. That's efficiency at its best. Another reason I love amaranth is how fast it grows. You can sow it in a small space and start harvesting the leaves in just a few weeks. Even if you're new to gardening, it's hard to mess this one up. It's forgiving, hardy, and keeps giving back exactly what you want when you're thinking about long-term survival crops. And here's a tip most people miss. The seeds can be stored for a long time and used like a mini grain reserve. In tough times, having something that feeds your family both fresh and stored is a real game changer. Amaranth might not be flashy, but it's one of those plants that quietly saves the day when it matters most. 4. Kohlrabi, the crunchy survivor. Here's one that most people overlook but shouldn't. Kohlrabi. It looks unusual, almost like a little alien vegetable popping out of the soil, but that's exactly why it's so powerful in a survival garden. It's hardy, grows fast, and doesn't need perfect soil or constant care. Seriously, this plant thrives even when others struggle. What makes kohlrabi special is that both the bulb and the leaves are edible. The bulb is crisp and slightly sweet, perfect raw or cooked, while the leaves can be tossed into soups, sautés, or salads. You're getting two nutritious foods from one plant, which is a huge win when space and time are limited. It's also incredibly forgiving. You can plant it in spring or late summer, and it will grow steadily without demanding much attention. Plus, it matures quickly, meaning you can start harvesting in just a few weeks. For gardeners looking to maximize yield in a small space, kohlrabi is a hidden gem. Here's a little trick most people don't know. If you let the leaves grow a little larger, they get even more flavorful, almost like spinach, and the bulb keeps developing underground. So you're essentially getting a double harvest with almost no extra effort. That's why I love it for tough times, practical, productive, and surprisingly delicious. 5. Rutabaga, the forgotten power root. Next on our list is one of my personal favorites, rutabaga. You've probably heard of it, but rarely see it in home gardens, which is a shame because it's extremely hardy and full of nutrients. Rutabagas can survive frost, tolerate poor soil, and keep producing even when other vegetables fail, making them perfect for unpredictable seasons. What's amazing is how versatile they are. You can roast them, mash them, or even make hearty stews that keep your family full and nourished. Plus, they store incredibly well. Unlike many vegetables that go bad in days, a properly stored rutabaga can last for months in a cool, dry place, making it a natural pantry extension from your garden. They're also surprisingly easy to grow. Plant them in early spring or late summer. Give them some space to spread, and let nature do most of the work. The plants are low maintenance, resilient, and forgiving, which is exactly what you want when focusing on survival crops. Here's a tip most people don't know. Rutabagas can actually improve your soil over time. As they grow, their roots loosen compacted soil, which helps other crops thrive. So not only are you feeding your family, but you're building a healthier garden for the long term, a win-win if you ask me. 6. Celeriac, the underestimated survival veggie. Now let's talk about celeriac, also known as celery root. It's one of those vegetables that doesn't get the attention it deserves, but in a survival garden, it's pure gold. This root vegetable is tough, frost-hardy, and can store for months without losing flavor, perfect for times when fresh food is hard to come by. Celeriac has a subtle, nutty flavor that works beautifully in soups, stews, and mashes. You can even roast it for a sweet, earthy side dish. And here's the bonus. The leaves aren't just decorative, they're edible too, packed with flavor and nutrients, so you're getting more value from the same plant. It's also incredibly forgiving. Celeriac grows well in various soils, doesn't demand constant watering, and isn't prone to pests like some other crops. That means you can focus on other parts of your garden while it quietly develops underground, ready to feed your family when needed most. Here's a little tip. If you leave it in the ground through light frosts, the flavor actually improves and becomes sweeter. That's why I love it. It's low maintenance, versatile, and one of those uncommon crops that suddenly becomes a superstar in difficult times. Hey Green family, if you're finding these crops as eye-opening as I hoped, make sure to smash that like button. It really helps me know you want more videos like this. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a tip that could save your garden and your pantry. Also, I want to hear from you. Comment below which of these crops you'd actually try growing this season. Have you already planted any? Or is there a hidden gem I haven't mentioned yet? I'll be reading your comments and sharing tips in future videos, because we're all in this gardening journey together. Stick around, because after this, I'm sharing a bonus crop that almost no one thinks about, but could become your secret survival weapon in the garden. You do not want to miss that one. It's going to blow your mind. 7. Black radish, the spicy survivor. Next up is a crop that's bold, overlooked, and incredibly practical: black radish. It might not look fancy, but this tough root vegetable is perfect for survival gardening. It grows quickly, tolerates poor soil, and even withstands cooler temperatures that would stress other crops. The flavor is strong and peppery, which might surprise some of your family at first, but it's packed with nutrients that support digestion and overall health. You can eat it raw in salads, roasted, or even use it in hearty soups. And don't forget the leaves are edible too, adding even more value to what might seem like a humble plant. Black radish is also a storage hero. Left in a cool, dry spot, these roots can last for weeks or even months, giving you a reliable food source when fresh produce is scarce. That's exactly what you want from a survival crop, something that keeps giving long after harvest. Here's a tip most gardeners don't know. Planting black radish alongside other vegetables can help naturally loosen the soil, improving growth for your entire garden. So not only are you feeding your family, but you're also boosting your garden's health at the same time. Talk about a win-win. 8. Winter squash, the long-term keeper. Next on our list is winter squash, a true survival superstar. Unlike summer squash that spoils quickly, winter varieties like butternut or kabocha store for months without losing flavor, making them perfect for tough times. They're also incredibly productive, so a few plants can yield a surprising amount of food for your family. The beauty of winter squash is its versatility. You can roast it, mash it, turn it into soups, or even bake it into bread. The seeds are edible too, packed with protein and healthy fats, which means one plant gives you multiple food sources. It's like nature's own mini pantry in a single harvest. Winter squash plants are also resilient. They tolerate heat, resist pests, and require minimal maintenance once established. Even if your garden isn't perfect, these plants have a way of thriving, which is exactly what you need when you're planning for long-term survival. Here's a little insider tip. Allow the squash to fully ripen on the vine before harvesting. The flavor deepens, the skin hardens for longer storage, and you get the maximum yield from your plant. Once you start growing winter squash, you'll realize why it's been a staple in survival gardens for generations. 9. Chayote, the climbing survivor. Next up is chayote, a plant that often flies under the radar, but is perfect for survival gardening. It's a climbing vine, which means it doesn't take up much ground space but can produce tons of fruit. The more vertical space you have, the more food you get, perfect for small gardens or urban setups. The fruit itself is mild, versatile, and can be eaten raw, sautéed, or cooked into stews and soups. The young shoots and leaves are edible too, giving you multiple harvests from one plant. It's a bit like having a mini green pantry right in your backyard. Chayote is also surprisingly resilient. It tolerates heat, grows in various soils, and can keep producing fruit for months with minimal care. Once it's established, it practically takes care of itself, giving you a reliable source of fresh food even during tough growing seasons. Here's a tip most gardeners miss. If you save the seeds from the fruit, you can regrow new plants easily, giving you a renewable food source year after year. That's why chayote is such a hidden gem. It's space-saving, productive, and a total survival crop champion. 10. Taro, the starchy lifesaver. Now let's talk about taro, a starchy root that doesn't get nearly enough attention in home gardens. This plant is incredibly hardy, thrives in wet or damp soils, and produces a reliable, calorie-dense food perfect for families who need energy-packed meals during tough times. The corms are filling and versatile. You can boil, mash, roast, or even fry them, making them a true survival staple. Plus, the leaves are edible when cooked, giving you a double harvest from a single plant. It's like having a whole meal built right into one crop. Taro is also forgiving. It can grow in soil that other crops might reject, tolerates partial shade, and once it's established, it doesn't require constant attention. That makes it perfect if you're trying to grow multiple survival crops without burning out. Here's a little insider tip. If you leave some corms in the soil after harvest, they'll sprout again next season. That way, you can create a self-renewing food source that keeps giving, even if you don't replant every year. Taro might seem exotic, but it's one of the most practical crops for long-term survival. 11. Cassava, the true survival root. Next on the list is a classic survival crop that's tough and reliable: cassava. This root thrives in poor soil, withstands drought, and stores incredibly well, making it a must-have for anyone serious about food security. If other crops fail, cassava keeps giving, which is exactly why it's been a staple for generations in many parts of the world. The roots are starchy, filling, and versatile. You can boil, bake, fry, or even turn them into flour for bread and other baked goods. And don't forget the young leaves. They're edible too, giving you two valuable food sources from one plant. It's one of those crops that truly stretches your garden's productivity. Cassava is low maintenance and forgiving. Once planted, it grows steadily with minimal care, and by planting different varieties, you can get some that mature fast and others that store well in the ground. That way, you create a continuous harvest throughout the year, a smart strategy when preparing for tough times. 12. OCA, the colorful, uncommon survivor. Finally, let's talk about OCA, a root vegetable that's unusual but incredibly powerful. You probably haven't grown it before, which makes it a hidden gem for survival gardens. OCA is hardy, stores well, and can thrive in cooler climates where other roots struggle, giving you a dependable food source when times get tough. The tubers come in a rainbow of colors and are packed with carbs, vitamins, and minerals. You can roast, boil, or mash them, and after a frost, their flavor naturally sweetens. The leaves are edible too, giving you extra nutrition from the same plant, two harvests in one. OCA is also very productive and forgiving. Plant a few tubers in a small space, and you'll get plenty without needing a large garden. Once established, it keeps producing year after year, making it a smart choice for anyone planning for long-term food security. It's one of those uncommon crops that can quietly become a superstar in your garden when you need it most. And there you have it, Green Family 12 incredible crops that can help your family survive difficult times. From sweet potatoes to OCA, each one is practical, nutritious, and surprisingly easy to grow, even if your garden isn't perfect. The best part? Most of these crops give you more than one food source, making your garden a real powerhouse for long-term survival. If you found this list helpful, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow and lets me know you want more tips like this. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video that could save your garden and your pantry. And I want to hear from you. Which of these crops are you going to try first? Drop your answers in the comments. I read every single one and love sharing tips with this amazing Green Family community.